Hello, Turkon4 here, Sean Tockler here, whatever you want to call me. So someone asked about making a track circuit and how to set up a station so it will stop and keep going. At least I think that's what they asked. I'll be honest, I did have a bit of trouble trying to read the comment, but that's how I understood it, so I'm just going to do a quick little demo video of that. So here's the default demo level. Took a piece of this and dragged it over. Also grabbed the track piece here, dragged it over, and then copied and rotated it and cut some of this one to fill it up. So now we got a little circuit. So we need a train car. Let's just take one of these, copy it over. And yeah, good enough. I'm pedantic, so I'm sticking that this way. Either way, so we'll just want this to stop and then keep going. Now the Automover that I included by default as an example, in my opinion all the Automovers are examples. Remember, all they're doing is telling the train what to do, but that's a somewhat open-ended approach for just modifying its speed, so you can try and make any type of Automover you want or customize them however you want, but in this case we'll just use that station one that we were using over there as a quick reference. So So the first thing that we're gonna want to do is start stop control for a given actor. Go to the timeline, because this is what it's multiplying the initial speed by. So we want to go in here. We don't care about the open and closed doors event. We want the speed multiplier. Zoom extents. So it starts off with a multiplier of 1, goes to 0, and then after that it goes from 0 to -1. That's how the default one works, but we want it to go up to 1, so it will start off at its original speed, drop to 0, and then go back up to its original speed. The reason that it originally went to -1 was because over here it would go this way, stop, and then go in reverse. So here we want it to keep going back in its initial speed so that it will keep going on the circuit. So let's take this little Automover here and stick it down here. Because if we just used the original one, then it would stop and then would go back in the other direction. Is another thing worth mentioning. Make sure it's the height for the front truck. And let's see here, the requires positive current speed. This was included in this thing so that if the car, like in this case, if it comes from this direction, it would go back. But if it came from that direction from where it was starting, it wouldn't trigger. So in this case, we'll want it to be responding to the positive direction for the trains coming around this direction of the track. If we wanted to get rid of that, then that was just a small thing I added up here. You could just take this, connect right through, and just ignore these parts. So as soon as it confirms that it's got the auto volume, you just go straight up to getting the train cars and stuff. Compile. But otherwise you could have just plugged this to true and it would work either way. But now it could also work with something coming from the rear. So there, the front truck goes over it, it stops, and then off it goes again. So it's moving at default speed, and then it starts to slow down, and then we'll start speeding up and be back to its normal within 6 seconds. And here it comes by again. And there it's doing the same thing again. So that's pretty much it. The basic idea of the Automover is, yeah, you got the overlap event, then it feeds that stuff over here for the overlap triggered, which checks the various things. Does it hit the right component? It is allowed to do this one. You can check for a variety of things. But then once you actually tell it to stop and return, in this case stop and return, arguably we should relabel this something like stop and go, since we're going back on in the same direction, but I digress. That's pretty much all it takes now to make it so it can stop and continue around in a circuit, as opposed to going back in reverse. Hopefully that's helped solve the problem. If not, try to ask it again, maybe in the comments with some more details if possible. So yeah, have a good one. Sean out.